On the east coast of Scotland, they have a word for that moody fog that envelops the land, bringing a mysterious air to what would otherwise be a fine day. They call it a haar. It lies across the great links of Fife, the likes of St Andrews, Muirfield and Carnoustie, like a blanket just waiting to be peeled back to reveal what lies beneath.
Coming back one more, you can get round the outside of it a bit.
The dramatic dunes that make links golf so compelling.
But yeah, this is, to me, as dramatic as anything you get in Scotland or England, isn't it?
But we happen to be about as far from Scotland, geographically at least, as you can get. At the southern tip of the South Island of New Zealand, this is Oreti Sands, the world's southernmost links.
I mean, this is largely formed, isn't it?
In a place such as this, golf is revealed rather than created, delicately teased from the terrain. But the first key is to uncover the best routing. Our job would be to build 4 new holes, mainly in the dunes to the south, shave off the oddities, and voila! From the mists of the Haar would emerge a links of true greatness. But great care is needed to construct in this environment. Below the dune grasses and lupin lie the crumples and undulation that are the very essence of golfing intrigue. We needed to carefully remove the cloak of vegetation without destroying the very attributes we were determined to reveal. Our tenet is never to impose golf upon an environment. The course must fit seamlessly into the landscape. The human spirit, and certainly that of most Kiwis, is far more at home in a relatively unmodified surrounding. The spirit is raised by coexistence, not dominion. Over the next few minutes, we'll fly you through that journey of revelation.
You see, it's only 195 to the top of that mountain, but you know, how much can you cut off? I quite like the idea of you're never quite sure.
With the construction done, it was time to unveil the links to colleague, friend and newly crowned US Open champion Michael Campbell.
I reckon this is going to be a great hole. I mean, it's a par 4.5, isn't it, really? It's going to play like a par 5 a lot of the time. But yeah, I'd like to think we've nestled this in here and you know, it doesn't look like we've done anything really. It looks like it was, and you know, that's what it was like. So you could play 5 from here too.
Yeah, that's just thinking. Oh, that's what this we were talking before.
Yeah.
It was time for reminiscing. I first came here as a schoolboy, probably 30 years ago, and was immediately captivated by the place. Back then I had no comprehension of why. Perhaps it was some sort of intuitive understanding that wrapped in these very dunes was the DNA from which the game of golf evolved. Over that intervening time, I'd played and visited almost all of the world's great links, a number of them with Cambo.
Get rid of the trees here and all along here, and it just becomes all fairway, and there's the green.
I'd always believed Oreti was capable of sitting at the same table as these wonderful links. Maybe not as grand or pretentious, but the embodiment of the real sport and conquest.
Basically, you're going to be able to hit it down over that, because that green disappears. You can go right of the tree, you can go up left of the tree, you can go over the tree, or you can go straight at the green.
What better way to open the course than with the Great Southern Golf Challenge? The course was ready, so it was time to fly in some of Australasia's greatest players to pit their games against the course. This group have between them won events the world over, in Scotland, England, Europe, Japan and Australasia. How would they fare at Oreti? Opening day was upon us. It's unlikely the clubhouse will appear in any architectural awards, but if warm and welcoming had a category, maybe along with understated, it would definitely be shortlisted. These boys have probably seen more luxurious locker rooms. And it's only fitting that the Great Southern Golf Challenge should face a zephyr from the south.
Predict the weather conditions, which is nearly impossible.
It's perfect. These are everywhere.
The Aussies reckon it was straight from Antarctica. Well, there might be a whiff of penguin poo in the air. The match was to be a trans-Tasman affair. Peter O'Malley and Peter Senior would play Peter Fowler and Mahal Pearce.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all get number 1 Senior, please, by the little chair.
Senior was first off at the new second.
Yeah, beautiful.
Amazing to think back what that looked like. Part of the skill of a designer is to visualise what a raw land might look like in the future. Peter Fowler.
Yep.
And to the green, O'Malley. The inimitable Robert Hunter once said, "So golf goes on the links, those sacred bits of God's earth, where men have battled for generations, like the sailor or the mountaineer, with what nature had placed before them."
But this will keep you thinking.
The true links were moulded by divine hands. Linksland, the fine grasses, the wind-made bunkers that defy imitation, the exquisite contours that refuse to be sculptured by hand. The terrain itself has an individuality all its own. In its uneven diversity, its tumbling irregularity, its unrivaled originality, Linksland bears no resemblance to any other territory. The third may become the South's answer to Troon's famous postage stamp.
Yeah, it blows here a lot. You don't need, when was the last time you had fun with a 2-iron on your hand in a par 3? You know? Anybody can make it hard through length.
Oreti has always had the bones of a wonderful links, but a few ordinary holes in the middle of the back nine, along with some eccentricities early on, have tended to undermine its potential. I've been privileged to play and compete on the raw and wild landscapes of Ballybunion and County Down, to sample the intrigue and charm of Portmarnock, Muirfield, St George's, Lytham and Troon, to marvel at the grandeur and majesty of Birkdale, Turnberry and Dornoch, to imbibe the history and soul of St Andrews. But there are also countless others, full of rugged charm and sporting quality. Western Gales, North Berwick, Formby, to name a few. The list goes on. Add to that list Oreti Sands. There are very few links where wetlands such as these border rugged dunes. The 17th already stands out as one of New Zealand's finest par 3s. And 18 required little attention from us. As the match drew to a close, the result was irrelevant. 4 of Australasia's finest golfers had brought more than just their golf games to the dunes south of Invercargill. They had provided the ever-modest locals with proof that their links had an authenticity to be revered.
Thank you very much to Peter O'Malley, Peter Senior, Peter Fowler and Mahal Pearce. A very big thank you once again to our major funders, the Community Trust of Southland and the ILT Foundation. Without them, we wouldn't have got very good.
And I think what you've continued to establish in the frontier, you've continued to break. I think it's wonderful. I mean, there's no shiny ass club rooms here. It's down to earth club. And
We're working on it,
but there's a really hard nosed golf course, and that's great. And together with the people, I think that's what makes it something pretty special.
This club is one of those groups that loves doing things for themselves. And it makes a huge difference to us when you're just writing out a cheque or okaying something or discussing something, and there are some bodies like that in Southland that we support. I'd like to thank the 4 senior golfers that were here today, because I spent all weekend wandering around Otatara, the championship course there, watching the interprovincial, and of course they're all in their teens and hitting it a mile, but they're not a patch on you 4 guys for your professionalism, the way you hit the ball, your attitude. That was something that we all learned a lot from today. And I mean that sincerely. You've given credibility to our course, you've given it a kickstart, and from the humblest of all of us, I say thank you very much for making the effort of being here and giving that credibility into something which is quite unique. We've certainly got a great championship course at Invercargill at Otatara, but this course in itself is unique. And for those of you who've been lucky enough to travel around the world to the Western Isles of Ireland and Scotland, where it all started, and other places where they're lucky enough to have this sort of geographic area, what a thrill it is to have this gem, and I think Greg's seen that and polished that gem into what it is today.
The 4 guys that came and played today, I mean, I really do appreciate it. These guys are in the middle of a season, they're between tournaments. The last thing you need on a Monday is to come and play golf, and this sort of when it's your day off. Now, this is their day off. They've come here because they're mates of mine, because they're interested in this links golf, they're interested in golf. I've told them about the club and about the course, and for them to come down here and do that, I'm very, very appreciative. And this is about the whole region. It's not just about Oreti Sands. I think with Otatara next door, this is well worth a golf trip.
I'll just say a few words on behalf of the boys who played today. Especially to Turns, as he said, we're all good friends of his, and we played a lot of golf together over the last couple of decades. Chucky and I are still going though. We're probably the only 2 senior golfers here. The other 2 have got a few years to go. But I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. And as Peter said, this is you've got a great piece of ground to work with here. And if anybody's played the links courses over in Europe, very similar territory. So it's got all the makings of becoming a very, very great course. And I wish you all the best and hope everything turns out well.
To Greg, I thank you for inviting me down. Superb effort. I'm going to play down here more. I mean, it's a perfect place to come to get ready for British Opens or whatever. I think the new designs are fantastic. The new layout out the back's absolutely brilliant. So well done, and thank you, Pete and Pete.
This experience for us was at one end of the design spectrum. This is a very real, authentic, raw opportunity, and it's difficult to build in these conditions. Just as one example would be that you need 7 to 10 days to grow grass, and then this is probably in the category of being a qualifying course. It's good enough to be a qualifying course for a British Open. If it was a Monty Feith or some of those courses, it's as good as that. Sometimes it's difficult for a member to imagine who hasn't been there, and so having this opportunity for these players, great professionals who've been all around the world, to come and see them play and to have that feedback, hopefully makes it a bit more real for the membership, which should be very proud of this golf course.